The day the stars burned back. The Vernaceus were the stuff of nightmares, an ancient and enigmatic force that came from the farthest reaches of the unknown. A mass of fire and shadow, their fleets cloaked in a writhing void, they consumed entire worlds with a chilling finality. Planets turned to barren husks, their biospheres eradicated, their civilizations silenced. For eons, their motives were unknowable, their hunger unending. When the Vernaceus descended, there was only darkness, until they reached the Terrans. The Vernaceus targeted a seemingly insignificant colony on the edge of a distant spiral arm. The Terrans, hailing from a place whispered as the Death World, had been enigmatic, but cooperative, trading technology and goods while quietly expanding across the galaxy. They asked for little, spoke even less, and rarely involved themselves in the politics of the galactic collective. When the Vernaceus came, the galaxy assumed the Terrans would fold like every other species before them. The first encounters were pitiful. Terran scout ships were obliterated, their small fleets overwhelmed by Vernaceous firepower. Colonies fell, their outposts flickering out like dying stars. The galaxy watched in despair, knowing the Terrans, resilient as they were, could not stand against the overwhelming darkness. But then something changed. The Terran response. The turning point came at Tarsus 4, one of the last Terran colonies before their home solar system. The Vernaceus swarmed, an unyielding tide of shadow and flame. It was there that the galaxy bore witness to the Terran resolve. No, their madness. The Terrans activated planetary defense systems that scorched their own lands, sacrificing cities to obliterate entire Vernaceus battalions. Their ships, small and unassuming compared to the monolithic constructs of the Vernaceus, moved with precision and purpose, ramming into enemy vessels with nuclear payloads detonating on impact. Tarsus 4 was not saved, but neither were the Vernaceus. For the first time in known history, the consuming darkness staggered. The rise of the Death Worlders. The galaxy whispered in shock as the Terrans retreated to their home system, Sol. It was assumed they had conceded, that they would dig in and await the inevitable. Instead, the Terrans prepared. From the shadows of their silent worlds came fleets unlike any the galaxy had seen. Ships bristling with weapons that bent the laws of physics themselves. Probes swept across the void, their ominous broadcasts warning any species within range to stay clear. "Do not interfere," they said. "This is our war." The Vernaceus surged toward Earth, hungry to extinguish the fire of the Death Worlders, but they never reached it. Terran fleets launched an assault with a savagery that defied reason. They did not fight to hold ground. They fought to annihilate. Planets already overtaken by the Vernaceus were reduced to molten glass. Entire star systems rendered uninhabitable. The Terrans wielded weapons that cracked moons and boiled atmospheres, turning every battlefield into a graveyard. In their wake, the galaxy watched in stunned silence. The Vernaceus, long feared as an unstoppable force, were being pushed back by what the galactic collective now referred to as the Death World Scourge. The final blow. It was at the Vernaceus core fleet, deep within the Devourer Nebula, that the Terrans unveiled their ultimate weapon, a fleet of ships, each carrying star-killing payloads, plunged into the heart of the enemy. With grim resolve, the Terrans detonated the devices, collapsing the stars themselves into raging supernovae. The nebula became a firestorm, consuming the Vernaceus fleet in a cascade of destruction so immense it warped space-time. When the light of the explosion faded, the Vernaceus were gone. Where once the galaxy had feared their name, there was now only silence. Aftermath. The Terrans did not celebrate. They did not boast. They returned to their colonies, their enigmatic silence as impenetrable as ever. But the galaxy had changed forever. No longer were the Vernacius, the specter of death in the night. Now that title belonged to the Terrans, the species from the Death World, the ones who had raised stars to save the galaxy. The whispers spread across every corner of the Milky Way. Pray, the Death Worlders never find a reason to turn their gaze upon you. And somewhere, in the void where no light reached, the Terrans began to prepare for what might come next.